Alright, Sammy Joe. So, you want to check for no spark. In the old style points and coil setup, the coil needs to have a rising and falling voltage to transfer the energy from the primary winding of the coil to the secondary winding of the coil. That way the voltage is kicked up to say 25 or 30,000 volts, and that's the voltage that jumps across the gap of the spark plug. So first things first, make sure that the points are set correctly. Put the rubbing block on the cam lobe of the distributor and set the gap with a feeler gauge. It may be, oh, I don't know, 26 thou, might be 16 thou. You have to check the manufacturer for that. So if that is set properly and you have voltage at the primary of the coil, say it's 7, 8, 9 volts, something like that, well, that's good. You make sure that your condenser, which is inside the distributor, is like a arc suppressing capacitor, which is very important for to cause the points to live a long time, opening and closing, because every time it opens there's a voltage that tries to jump across and tries to arc across the gap of the points, and that condenser suppresses that arcing. So if the condenser is bad, well, it could be shorted, and you're not going to have any energy transfer. So think about this: when voltage is applied to the coil, that's when the points are open. When the points close, that brings it down to ground momentarily, but that difference causes the energy transfer and causes the voltage to be kicked up from 8 or 9 volts to 25 or 30,000 volts. So between that, checking the coil itself with the wires disconnected and the ignition off, of course. You check for resistance on the primary side, which is the negative to the positive terminal, and then you check for the secondary side, from the negative to the center terminal, which is where the coil wire goes. So that way there, if the resistances are right, primary may be very low, tens of ohms, and the secondary may be much higher, but it won't be open. It could be something like, oh, I don't know, 100 ohms, 50 ohms, I'm frankly not sure, but there's got to be a reasonable resistance, and that would be showing that the coil primary and secondary are good. So also the coil wire itself, it may be burnt inside. The center conductor may be burnt away, and that would be bad. Now take a look at the distributor cap. If the distributor cap is new, you would think it's okay, but that center carbon little dome in the distributor cap, which is where the coil wire would connect to on the other side, that has to be touching the rotor with its tang. There should be contact there. If it's damaged or no contact, well, there's no energy transfer out to the real world. So that's important as well. So there's a number of things that you need to check, and then once you do all that and you do get it running and break in the cam and so on, you can fine-tune the points gap by putting a dwell meter on the coil, and it will show you how many degrees that the points are open or closed. So that's the dwell angle. Chevrolets were typically around 26 degrees or perhaps 30 degrees, but you'd have to see again for that manufacturer what they call for that spec. So see what you can do, and we'll go from there. All right, good luck.